Hey church, Pastor Stu here from the Arcade campus, and thankful to be able to bring this morning's devotional to you from the book of Mark. You know, when I was a kid, I remember my grandmother telling me a saying that says, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. Well, I think that advice might be helpful in some things. There are things in life that we need to trust as true, even though they may seem too good to be true. This morning, I want to share a passage with you about something that seemed too good to be true, but it was, in fact, that we know today it was absolutely true. And hopefully it will remind us of some of the other facts that we need to remember as well. We're going to finish it up here in the book of Mark. We're in chapter 16, and we're going to start in verse 9. It says, Now when he arose early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, from whom he had cast out 7 demons. She went and told those who had been with him as they mourned and wept. But when they heard that he was alive and had been seen by her, they would not believe it. And then going on in verse 12. After these things, he appeared in another form to 2 of them, as they were walking into the country. And they went back and told the rest, but they did not believe them. Now, I think sometimes they get a bad rap. You know, how could they not believe him? These guys have seen Jesus. But think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. You know, they had been there. They'd seen with their own 2 eyes. They'd seen the beating that he received. Jesus realistically probably shouldn't even have survived the beating before being hung on the cross. But they saw that with their own 2 eyes. They saw him hung on a cross. They witnessed him crying out on the cross and taking his last breath. They saw him get pierced with a spear. They even saw his lifeless body brought down from the cross and laid in a tomb. How could he now be walking among Mary Magdalene and then these other 2 disciples? How could that happen? Indeed, it was too good to be true. But what they failed to remember was that Jesus had told them what was going to happen. If we go back to Mark 8, if we back up a little bit in Mark 8, we see where Jesus tells them exactly what's going to happen. Starting in verse 31, it says, And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the scribes and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. And I love the beginning of verse 32. Jesus didn't want to miss it. In the verse 32, it says, And he said this plainly. Like, all right, this is important. I don't want you to miss it. Make sure you catch this. He told them exactly what was going to happen. But you know what? When they had seen him die on that cross, they'd forgotten about those promises that Jesus had given. Are we all that different? Do we need to be reminded of the promises that God gives us in our life as well? I think so. I wrote down just a few different promises that we may need to be reminded of. And this, again, just a few. There's so many more in Scripture, but these are just some off the top of my head. I think sometimes we need to be reminded that there's salvation for all who believe in Jesus. In Romans 1:16, it says, For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. Maybe that's the reminder you need today. He promises us to give us strength at all times. Isaiah 41:10 says, Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Maybe you're facing something today and you need to be reminded that God will give you that power and that strength to get through it. Maybe you need to be reminded that he's always present in good times and in bad. Maybe you're going through a time right now and you need to be reminded that Jesus is with you. Don't forget Deuteronomy 31:8. It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. Do not fear or be dismayed. Whatever you're facing today, you can know that he is with you. He promises trouble in this world. That may not sound like a good thing, but he promises trouble in this world, but also peace in the midst of it through him. John 16:33 says, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Again, these are just some of the promises. There's so many promises in Scripture that we need to be reminded of. But I can tell you this, when God says something, when Jesus says something, it will come to fruition. Church, have a great day.